On July 1st, 1863, near the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Confederate General Robert E. Lee led his army in an attack on Union forces. On that first day, the Confederates drove the Union Army from the northwest of Gettysburg to the south side of the city. On new ground, the Union soldiers took position on a range of hills, including Cemetery and Culp's Hill. On the second day, the battle raged on with prospects for the Union Army looking bleak. The Confederates sent charge after charge, advancing on various points in the line of Union soldiers. The Confederates gained ground, but the Union Army maintained some strongholds. When dawn broke on the third day, fighting resumed. The Union Army sustained heavy losses, but endured until a momentous turning point, Pickett's charge. The Battle of Gettysburg turned as the Union Army was able to maintain a crucial stronghold. With this hold, the Confederates were pushed back, and the Union Army began to make important advances. There were great casualties on both sides, especially Lee's, as the Union Army turned the tide and defeated the Confederates. After their failure, General Lee led his army on a rough retreat back to Virginia. 4 months later, on November 19th, in Gettysburg, President Lincoln gave one of America's most remembered speeches, dedicating the ground of Gettysburg as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. By dedicating that ground, President Lincoln created a sacred site which still exists today, reminding the living of the principles which this nation was founded upon. He showed that we must commit ourselves to those principles so that this nation shall not perish from the earth. 7.046 billion people live on this earth today, each different. All people share similarities, but everyone is unique. Many people in society are trying to teach that being different and standing up for what one believes in isn't important or good. Those people say that instead we should be striving to conform and be the same as everyone else. The Gettysburg Address dedicates ground upon which over 51,000 men died, more deaths than in any other battle during the Civil War, making that place sacred and different than all the other fields surrounding the city of Gettysburg. If some leaders today had their way, the events which took place at Gettysburg would be forgotten, making Gettysburg no more important than the cornfield it once was. In order for something to be sacred, it must be established upon principles and set apart as an emblem of those principles. Not just any principle can be chosen to found a family, organization, or nation upon. The principles must be correct and just. The Civil War was fought over principles. Those principles were freedom and equality for all men. This nation was also founded upon principles. In the Declaration of Independence, it states, "All men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." In the past, Sunday was set apart from the other days of the week as a sacred day. Families stayed home together, abstaining from many other activities, making it a day of rest. Sundays, like Gettysburg, are being attacked by society. Society is trying to make Sundays a day like any other. The percent of children who are now growing up with only one parent in the home is now over 66%. Family and family time is being valued less and less. In order for those alarming numbers to decrease, it is necessary that the amount of quality time spent with family increases. If we do not keep Sundays sacred and different from other days of the week, dedicated to family time and religious activities, the catastrophe will come to our nation. Without parents raising children in a family unit, teaching them to be hardworking, responsible, honest people, this nation will fall apart. When a nation is built upon principles, holding important lessons and valuable experiences sacred, commitment is necessary for anything to be of any lasting value. Commitment is being dedicated to a cause. Commitment is not short-term. Lincoln said, "It is for us the living rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work." The Civil War ended over 150 years ago, and the conditions under which we live have changed drastically. Today, most people do not use horses as primary means of transportation. We have countless new creations which would baffle our ancestors. Despite all our differences, though, the struggles we face today are very similar to those faced by them. Life is filled with battles, both mental and physical. The physical battles fought in the Civil War often ended with nightfall. They passed and paused at moments and gave time for renewal of vigor and strength. The mental battles that so many people face today are inescapable. Commitment is imperative to win these battles. We must take increased devotion from those who have gone before us to win the battles in each of our lives. Commitment to the principles upon which our nation has grown will enable us to learn from the lives of others, bettering our present and chances for the future. If we do not remain committed to the principles upon which families and nations are founded, that which was once sacred will become unimportant. Gettysburg, the turning point of the Civil War, would become as meaningful as a field of plowed corn. The Civil War may be over, but the cause for which it was fought must never die. It is now our responsibility to uphold our principles and remain committed to all that we hold sacred, furthering the work of liberty and freedom for all men.